All right. So, welcome to Journey with Jordan. Um, Guys, 5 years ago, if you were a previous listener of the podcast, right, the preeminent, um, you may know that I was involved in real estate. I was involved in the investing world, different things. Wrote a book. Excuse me, Flip Your Life. Sorry, I'm eating my yogurt right now. And was involved in a bunch of activity, right? And 2019, 2020, I started getting sick, and while the whole global, situation was going on. And I myself got sick and, still continue to move forward with business. Make a long story short, 2 years ago, I ended up having to have stomach surgery to put my stomach back in the right place, right? So more on that later, right? But to sum it up, your stomach is obviously down here in your lower, abdomen area and your lower belly, and mine was up here in my chest cavity. So it caused me a lot of issues. Caused me to throw up every day for almost 3 years before they figured out that that was the issue that was wrong, right? So that's why the last time that I did this podcast, the last time that I really, was really active on social media was 2019, 2020, 2021, before I knew the extent of my health. And um and yeah, so for the past 2 years I really had to take complete time off, complete absence from operating real estate and day-to-day operations, and kind of go more into the freelancing world, and haven't been so focused on building business aspect, right? Or like just really um, I read something the other day that it was like when you have your health you have 100 dreams, and then when you don't have your health you only have one, right? And then that was kind of really my life for the past 2 years, was just focused as intentionally as I could on rebuilding my health, so that way I could get back to business and building business and kind of mending some relationships that I unfortunately probably disrupted, or what have you, in the chaos of my life. And yeah, some I had some unfortunate things happen, right? But the life keeps going, the ball keeps spinning, and you gotta, at some point, I had to pick myself up and say, all right, we're gonna try this again. We're gonna do this again, right? And except for this time, I want to be more intentional with documenting my journey as an entrepreneur. 2024 marks my 10th year in terms of like pursuing entrepreneurship, pursuing business. 2017 is when I fell in love with the real estate industry, and was fortunate enough to get a position with Gulf South Equity Group, and which led me to building my version of Gulf South Homebuyers, when my partner in that company or that organization, my partner, my employer, whatever you want to classify it as, right at the time, because I wasn't on paper an equitable partner or anything like that. We were just working on some things, and he decided to kind of stop real estate. He had some stuff going on, and I continued with Gulf South Homebuyers, and was wholesaling, was rehabbing, was sourcing capital for other investors, um, was writing Flip Your Life, was doing a podcast, and on top of all of that, looking at other, what was diversifying my attention and my money into avenues that I shouldn't have been doing, and just throwing mud at the wall and just seeing what stuck. And just because I was kind of bored with what I was doing in real estate. So yeah, so look, I'm again, I'm just sitting on my porch right now. I'm being intentional in so many areas of my life that, like, content really just is one of those areas that, like, I've been trying to be intentional in, but like I can't be. Um and like So like it's been preventing me from putting stuff out there instead of just being like, hey, like this is where I'm at. Like this is what I'm doing. You know, reason why I you know changed the podcast from the preeminent to Journey with Jordin is to make it more like personal, right? Like we all I like to say the majority of people that listen to my podcast or follow me on social media are either business owners, entrepreneurs, or aspiring to be, are free thinkers, are Christians, are people that are faith based, are and it's like I'm so fortunate that I had the events in my life that I had, right? And I'm so fortunate to have learned those lessons. And like, losing, a $500,000 in your early, in your mid-20s isn't fun, right? Like that's not an easy pill to swallow. That's not an easy, thing to overcome, or like, on top of all of your health issues and people manipulating you and backstabbing you and, especially like, being young in real estate and being involved with people that are, 10 years, 15, 20 years older than you and, have navigated those oceans and, anyway, yeah. So it's like, I learned a lot of lessons, and I'm taking this time, and now that my health is kind of really back underway, I'm taking this time to reflect back on my journey as an entrepreneur and, as I step into this next season of my life, as I rebuild Preeminent, and not the podcast, right? My company is Preeminent, right? And the Preeminent Group, and just kind of invite everyone on this journey with me as I rebuild my foundation, my business foundation, and I had a very worldly perspective on things, and now I'm more deeply rooted in Christ than I've ever been. And again, if you were following me in the past, me being a Christian or me being a believer is not a surprise to you. But I was a very, I knew of Jesus, but I didn't really have a relationship with him, right? And at the end of the day, when all you have left in your life is a hope and a prayer, you really start to cling to Jesus, right? You really start to build that relationship with him. And I'm and it's unfortunate that it took me getting to such a bad place in my life with my health, that it was in that moment that I truly turned to God, right? But I have no shame about that. I have no guilt over that. The fact of the matter is I did come to him, and I did submit, and I am now obeying. And so what to expect, right? What can you expect from this podcast? What can you expect from following me on social media? Sorry, need a bite. So yeah, what can you expect? I am on this journey just like all of you, right? In the past I achieved a certain level of success, but honestly, it's not a level of success that I'm happy with. Not, and it's I'm not happy because of the worldly perspective in which I achieved it in, right? Like, and just this chapter of my life is just different, and so if you're someone that is struggling, or a business owner, or somebody that is wanting to pursue business or get there we go. So really what this journey is about is, when I reflect back on my real estate career, I did over 75 transactions off market real estate, which for those that don't know what like wholesaling or like off market and stuff like this by chance, right, is typically wholesaling real estate. You're finding properties at 30%, 50%, 60% the value of the full market value. So if a house is worth $300,000, I was typically locking that property up under a purchase agreement for 150,000 or lower, and then selling it to an end buyer for, $150,000 or higher, and making whatever that spread was, right? So, example again, $300,000 house. If my purchase price to the seller is 130,000, then I'm going to find a buyer at 150,000, and I'm going to make the $20,000 profit, right, in between. So, in my career from 2017 till 2021, I did that about 55-ish times, 55, 60 times, on top of flips, on top of raising private capital for my own flips and my own projects, and sourcing capital for other investors, and all while doing this without a real estate license. And which, this next chapter of my life, because I'm really focusing on building that real estate business and that real estate company back, and documenting this journey, one of my most immediate steps is getting my real estate license. And which I can't be I'm really moving into the world of consulting, and technically you can't be a real estate consultant. Like, you can't be a real estate consultant in Louisiana without being a licensed real estate agent. At least that's what my research tells me. But anyway, which is crazy, because it's like, experience wise and knowledge wise and like expertise wise, I have all of that. I just don't have the credentials, right? But anyway, which I don't necessarily need the credentials, because like I have enough agents in my network to work with. That's kind of how I did the level of business back in the day that I did. But just for like structure wise, and for really like building a strong foundation for my life and my business, getting my real estate license and getting my general contractor's license is kind of like of the utmost importance to me. And again, it's because I'm refocused on building my real estate company and consulting business, and just trying to help as many people as I can. Like, learn from my mistakes, right? Like, I'm not. Honestly, man, I had a lot of like just guilt and like shame over like coming to social media and like putting my business out there and being like, oh guys, like I messed up, I did this, I shouldn't have done this, I invested in this and I lost this, and and it's like, because I had a lot of wins, but it's like I don't know, the wins definitely don't like. I don't know. The wins never built my character. It's always my losses. It's always my like where my character is really built, and I achieved that next level of like gratitude, and like I'm 28 years old, and it's like I would like to say and hope that I have a lot of life ahead of me, and whoever is watching this, my audience is 20 to 45-ish, right? So, like, I would love to think and hope and pray that, y'all have a lot of life ahead of y'all, too. So it's like, don't get caught up on your mistakes. Don't get caught up on past transgressions or, like, anything like that, right? Because you are so much more than a mistake that you made. You are a child of the Most High, right? And it's like, these are constant reminders to myself of not beating myself up over a lot of stuff. And guys, like, I made a lot of mistakes in my business. Believe me, I made so many. It basically bankrupted me, right? Like, just out of naivety and out of like just having that go mentality and never taking the time to like be patient and like, like, don't be emotional about deals and yeah, like so many lessons learned, and that I hope that like I get to pass down now. And as I I'm transparent about rebuilding my business. I'm not trying to be one of those people on social media or a coach or a guru or whatever that's like, oh yeah, build $1 million, yeah, is it possible? Yeah, absolutely. Like, was I to that level? Yeah, I was high up, considering, I had my 6-figure months. I had, I did. And then this time, man, I'm just looking to do that again, right? But have better systems, have better things in place for my work life balance and my health, and not neglecting that again. And surrounding myself with really good quality people, and God fearing people, and yeah. So, with that being said, look, I've recorded this video, I don't know how many times, over how many days or weeks, right? Just saying different stuff. And so I finally think this is the one that I'm going to post, right? And matter of fact, I'm probably just going to upload it to YouTube right after this. I'm not going to clip anything. I'm not going to, because, like, I don't really see the point, right? Like, this is kind of how I've always been, and I was fortunate to, like, have the stuff that I had back in the day. And, I took a lot of it for granted, because if I wouldn't have, I I wouldn't have done some of the things I did, right? And it's like, you live and learn. And, sometimes you're able to learn from the mistakes of others, and other times you have to learn them for yourself, right? Like, so, but I would rather have, like, the pain of, like, something not working, or, like, of me, I would rather have the pain of, like, me going forward and like trying to do something that works within my vision, or, like, that I feel like is attached to my purpose, than the pain of regret. And it's like, because, like, doing something, like, I made a lot of moves that I felt like, that were right to make. And when red flag, when some of the people that I was in business with, when I noticed red flags, and I brought that, to the attention, and the reactions that, transpired from there, and just the way that things happened the way that they did, when, I'm the one that has, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested with you, right? Just really, again, fortunate that it happened. Taught me a lot of lessons. Taught me the true value of patience, right? And being a good steward with time, money, resources, and all of that. And yeah. So anyway, welcome to Journey with Jordin, right? Documenting my this season of my life in entrepreneurship and business, and all the stuff that I've learned, and credit and finance and real estate and investing and e-commerce, and gonna bring in industry experts and mentors of mine, and people that have been walking with God for decades upon decades upon decades, and really hope to build a community and an ecosystem where we can all learn from one another, and help each other grow, and do business with one another, and yeah. So subscribe, like, all of that stuff. I'm not familiar with the outros of videos, right, or podcasts, this, that, and the other. But look, I'm gonna really try to do this. Like, honestly, I want to do it kind of every day, right? If I could just keep this, but look out for that next one, right? Like, I'm gonna be pumping out as much content as I can, as I'm really rebuilding stuff, and putting out, yeah, guys. I look, I'm hungry right now. I'm hungry right now for growth for myself. I'm hungry right now for growth for my city. I'm hungry right now just for God to continue to use me as a vessel and grow in my life, and yeah, as He pours into me, I hope that, my prayer is that I'm able to pour into you, right? And that we can really help each other, and yeah, I'm excited. So look, I'm gonna leave it right there. I know I keep on, going on, and look, I'll see y'all in the next one.